Welcome, everybody, to Scent Spotlight. This is a podcast where we feature some of the best creators that are on the Scent platform. This week's guest is someone I've been looking forward to speaking with for a long time. I first came across some of their edgy, gritty collages, but other users may know them for some of the crypto art that they've done with a pretty pointed political message, or some of the work that they've done with some really famous historical statues. My guest this week is Lazarus2571. Welcome, Lazarus.
Hey, dude. It's nice to meet everyone.
Nice. So I'll start this off with the first question that I always ask every guest that's on the Scent Spotlight. In as many or as few words, tell the community who Lazarus2571 is.
I'm just a normal guy from the UK. I grew up around art quite a bit, and for quite a while left art, and just went out into the normal working world. And I just didn't feel like I could fit into that world, so I became quite reclusive. I ended up just quitting jobs and spending 90% of my time online. That's where I found the blockchain, crypto, NFTs. I didn't really share a lot of work for quite a while. I went back to university just to kind of get a creative edge. So that meant that I went into graphic design. So my background is primarily in graphic design, but I also spanned off into painting and dabbled in like street art as well. So at times I did travel around and do street art in certain parts of the world, like not the whole world, just mainly Europe and the UK. For the most part, I don't tag things as well. I just kind of put stuff out there. And that's the way I do with Lazarus across KO and Super Rare is I just kind of put things out there, and it's not really designed to go out as a large amount as well. I think that's something with NFTs that I have recently started to comprehend a little bit, is because Super Rare is like one of one, isn't it?
Yeah, they really try to push the one of one super rare element.
Yeah, for me, I mean, like editions hold more purpose in like the way they are as themselves, as opposed to a one-on-one. So the digital medium that it lies in kind of defies the point sometimes as a one-on-one, because that's more of a tangible, real-world thing. Me personally, I quite like editions anyway. But yeah, there's the political side and everything. Usually it's just definitive to that individual moment in an individual situation in the world right now. So, if you think about the UK and Brexit, there's quite a bit with that stuff. There's sexism, racism, all these kind of things. They're quite powerful pointers. And I think that people's artwork can frequently lose power by just making something that's pretty. Because I see a lot of work coming out now, and people, I don't want the industry to be killed in some ways. That like NFTs, people are taking photographs now, putting them just into a Google AI bot that is creating an effect on the image and then just posting it straight away.
Yeah, every single piece that I've seen of yours, I mean, whether it's the collage or again, like something more direct, like I guess the more political work that you've been doing, there definitely seems to be something deeper to what you're doing. And it's just so interesting how your art is so varied. Some artists, they have a very, very distinct style that they really don't deviate from. But again, like even listening to your bio of being trained in graphic design, but then doing a lot of like oil painting and then doing like street art and stuff like that, plus what you're doing with crypto, you seem to have just so many different styles and skills to pull on and employ in your work. So I'm kind of curious, like, how do you define your own artistic style? Like, do you have a particular style, or is it really just focused on creating something that has a deeper meaning, and then whatever style forms around that meaning is how it goes? How do you define your style?
Yeah, I think it can come down to the meaning, but also it can just come down to how I'm feeling on the day. Like for instance, if I just go through a period of just making collages and really grunging it up and making it abstract, I'll suddenly just get an urge to just U-turn and just be like, I just really want something vectored and minimal and contemporary. And then I think it can depend on the day and the situation and what's going on in the world, but also what's interesting about being able to do like multiple styles is I could just sock up it like multiple accounts and just be multiple people and just do 3 or 4 different styles and just lather it up that way. But luckily I've got a moral integrity. But like that's something a lot of people don't have online. But yeah, it really just comes down to the day. There's nothing specific. I like to vary it up. I think if you lined up 5 pieces of artwork and made 4 of them grungy and 1 of them vectored and minimal, you would just instantly be drawn to the vectored minimal, as opposed to day 2, if you just went in and then there was 4 vectored minimal pieces of artwork and there was 1 abstract oil painting mix collage with photography, then you'd be drawn towards that. So I think it's just 4 days on, 1 day off, mixing it up.
No, that totally makes sense. I mean, it sort of reminds me of music, right? So at least for me, I'll go for a period of time and there'll be maybe an album or 2 that just totally vibes with me, feels perfect. But then after a while, it doesn't match your emotion, doesn't match like the state of things, and you have to find something else that feels right. It's probably the equivalent of how you deal with your artistic styles and what feels good to create something one day versus the other. It's super relatable, actually.
I don't know about you and like people listening, but me with music, I'm just all ends of the spectrum, like from jazz to rap music and just really it's on the day, isn't it? It's on the week, it's the life situation. Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, how do you think about the 2 types of art, digital versus non-digital? Are there any overlaps? And like heading forward, is there any area that you want to focus on more? I know you're getting pretty deep in the crypto art space. You're posting on like known origin. I scooped your piece. I guess it was bonsai for the Dao Saka.
Oh yeah.
That was really dope. But yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on like the differences between crypto art and offline art, how you see the 2 playing out in the future.
Yeah, like earlier this week, I went to an art gallery in my local city, and I was walking around and I was just thinking to myself, like, this is all so beautiful, but it feels so far behind, and they're struggling to break out of it. And crypto voxels is good and stuff, but I actually, when I first saw crypto voxels, instantly within the first 20 minutes, I was like, this is great, but it feels like the boundaries it has now is exactly the same. Is nothing really interacts. It just kind of sits there, and even if it's a GIF, it's really minimal. Like for instance, they create these optical illusions. Have you seen like quite a lot of optical illusion art? Well, the whole point of a digital space is you can take away every boundary that we're looking at within the gallery. So if you go take away all the boundaries and then put them back in by choice when you make the gallery, you're defining the point of actually making the crypto voxel gallery. So in many ways, I'd like to make pieces that are much more interactive, 3D interactive artworks. Something that would probably react to you as you move past, and maybe put something in an algorithm that says, if this person's been searching this, I'll be spending X amount of time online for this, then it'll adapt in this way and this way. I mean, that's a really difficult thing to do.
Yeah. That would be ridiculous. Like the art would be a single piece, but depending on like which digital avatar went by it and their own unique history, they would see sort of like a reflection of themselves, their digital self in that art. That would be crazy. You're kind of blowing my mind thinking about that. I mean, there's some people doing some interesting things in there quest wise and with statues and things like that. But like what you described, that would be insane.
Well, that's one of the main reasons as well. I've started to try and learn how to code, but I haven't really put these things by the kind of Decentraland, crypto voxels and stuff like that. But I'm sure they could do it. I see no reason why they couldn't do it. But I'm going to learn to code. If someone else can do it, then I guess it's on me.
Well, yeah, you mentioned some of these other crypto projects like CryptoVoxels and Decentraland. Obviously, I came across you first on Cent. I'm always curious to hear how any of the creators on Cent actually came across it. So, like, how did you come across it? And then after you did come across it, how have you found the community since you joined?
Yeah, I think one thing that's great about Cent is, like you're saying, that the community itself is great. That I feel like almost everyone that I find on there, even if I ain't glanced at them for a second, I know straight away. I'd like that person. I'll like what they're doing. I want to follow them, interact with them. I think I found Scent on a site called Scorum. It's basically just a blogging site for sports. And I can't remember why someone was posting about it. Oh, that was it. There's this guy creating spray paint artwork of footballers, and he linked to Scent, I think. And anyway, Scent it grew pretty fast actually, didn't it? It kind of just started dragging people in pretty fast at one point, and I was kind of with that crowd, I think. But yeah, I was taken away mainly by how Scent is built differently, if you know what I mean. Like the way the kind of ETH system works and the way people interacting works differently, for sure. I think it works better than like 90% or even more everything that's out there. So
It's cool to hear. And I'm a huge fan of crypto art. I've scooped a lot of art from people like mlibt, blackbox.art, xcopy, and I see that we have someone in common, Matthias C. I think he's probably most well known for doing his stamps and everything. But he's just so passionate, such a great guy. And I'm glad to see a fellow collector. But I was wondering if there are any other artists that you have an eye on, either you've collected or you're hoping that you'll be able to collect a few of their pieces.
I haven't collected many because I'm a little short on ETH funds, but at the same time, that's just down to me. I haven't really purchased much. I've got a lot of other Litecoin, Bitcoin, but in general, there's loads. Like if I could scoop like 90% of everything, I would. I really would. I would just take it all. Like it'd be a bit greedy, but I'd love it. I really would. For me, I have a strange mentality in the way I look at a lot of artwork as well. Is you could probably give me like a Da Vinci or a Picasso or something. I'd probably not appreciate it as much as the Matthias at the moment, like Matthias C, which is very odd. It's purely because I've always liked kind of underdog mentality and also what's next. And I can see I'm jumped to a few conclusions with Matthias C, but I get the feeling that other people might have had it a bit easier than him to create certain things quickly, if that makes sense, because of the work he puts in. You can tell he's really grinding to get
Yes.
the best out of everything. Does that make sense? Like we talked about earlier, saying like how people don't put in 100% these days, that there's AI bots that can just take over for them. He's really one of those people that are really intending on getting 100% out of himself.
The 100%. I first came across Matthias C, I guess, a couple months ago when I was speaking with mlibt. The two of them have quite a close relationship, and mlibt was just in terms of people I've actually picked up the phone, or in this case Zoom, and had a chat with like in real life. He was like the first like artist, like someone that lives in the studio 100% of his time. And he had mentioned Matthias C, which is also another artist who's like living his art. Like I don't think he sleeps in a 24-hour period. He just seems to be everywhere and then just working on his projects and pumping out content around that. It's really impressive to see.
It is. I mean, going back to Scent, that's something that would be great with Scent to try, and because a lot of artists kind of think the same in many ways, and they live the same in many ways. So it's like, me and Matthias C, we're creating artworks probably at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and everyone else is usually asleep, but in the real world kind of thing. You know what I mean? I think that if you can enable people to connect in that way, you can capture the entire art market then, really.
Geographically, we're all so separated, but like when you're in that zone of creativity and when it does get to be that like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. hour, if you're able to connect to people that are in there, I'm wondering like what sort of synergies or what could actually happen when those two artists get together in whatever digital context we could put together. That's interesting.
That would be like, you'd start to like really lose yourself as well if you start to put on like VR headsets and do that in a 3D world.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? That's what, there's that inevitability, isn't there, in our like subconscious minds that we all know we're kind of building towards it anyway.
Totally. I mean, I feel like even though Scent is as like non-VR as it gets, I feel like the interactions on Scent are hinting towards that sort of VR collaboration that's just one or two technical developments away, right? It's something that I've been noticing signs leading in that direction. Cryptovoxels, I mean, again, there are limitations in there, but the way that like people on Scent, people within Cryptovoxels are trying to set up digital meetups, going from plot to plot together, working on trying to get work from other artists and put together like little events and things like that. That's all hinting at the power of this purely digital collaboration. And if there is that VR context where people can meet up, studios where they could collaborate in the digital setting with digital tools, I'm super excited about that future.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, can you imagine like on CryptoVoxels, you got like a line of tabs on your left. Say if you had like a VR headset, you'd just be creating work on a piece on a box that would be like canvas. You just drag and drop it, and it just posts automatically on the on your tabs, different kind of social media tabs. That would be pretty cool. Like just thinking how it would move out to other people straight away, but you would already be there in like a little clique of artists. So they'll start doing like guilds of artists.
No, I 100% feel like that's going to be coming. I was speaking with No Shot the other day. One of his future dreams is like to become a digital craftsman, so that in spaces like CryptoVoxels or whatever VR worlds end up getting created, like he could just specialize in creating like little tools or works of art, or what have you, to populate and make that world like more livelier and colorful. And the same thing with like digital artists, they could do the same thing. And it's just, man, the possibilities there are just so exciting. And the relationships that people can establish either as like a collaborator or as a supporter or a customer, like they're just as real. They do feel just as real. And I think to a lot of people, they're just as powerful, if not even more powerful, just because of like the direct connection that people have and how easy it is to contact the other person after like any sort of interaction. It's, yeah, I could talk about this for days.
Yeah, I could just talk about this all day, the virtual aspects and how people are. Me personally, as far as the real world's concerned, I don't really live properly in this world. I just kind of like feel like I outgrown a lot of social conventions in many ways. Like if I'm talking to someone, it's really only about these digital spaces or artwork or certain artists or maybe a political thing or something. But yeah, like you talk about No Shot. I listened to the previous podcast with him the other day, and that was great. I've been meaning to look him up to talk to him. I think that's something I'm new to as well. Is I only really, before speaking to you today, I've basically spoken to M Liberty and Mattia and another guy called Abyssums, I think it is. Yeah, ABY SMS. His work, he only has like 5 or 6 pieces of work on KO. He was in the Deosaka as well. Yeah, he did the one with like the crab. But anyway, yeah, his work's a little underrated.
Right. The last question that I always ask guests is about who to spotlight next. So I know we talked about Matthias C a lot. I really am excited to potentially interview him, but I want to ask you, is there anyone that you would like to see spotlighted, or is it cool if I reach out to Matthias C next to get him on the show?
Definitely Mattia, yeah, definitely. When we spoke before, you said about scooping up some of his real work. He does do NFTs plus real deliveries.
Yeah, I saw that recently. Plus the same thing with MLibT with his recent Shadow statue.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize he delivered those statues. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping that he's going to release his next set real quick. I missed out on the first one, but I definitely need to scoop that second one, just because I feel like having both is kind of cool. And like for the real world, the non-digital pieces, they can help serve as like the conversation piece when you have like somebody's over and they see this like shadow statue and they're like, what is that? And it's like just going into the whole background of what that is, what it's tied to, what it's linked to on the blockchain. And it's really, really something that I think could be a valuable tool to bring people that are just not necessarily into crypto.
The 5-hour conversation trying to explain how the blockchain works and NFTs.
Yeah, it's definitely a deep conversation that requires alcohol usually. But
absolutely, yeah. I've given up trying, to be honest. I just literally say to them sometimes now, the blockchain is just like this magic ledger that you can just put things on and it appears in nowhere and then comes back to you. I give up honestly with half the people I speak to about it, but
Yeah. For me, I mean, I just stick with like digital money. It's just like it's digital money. It lives on the internet. It's easy to use. I mean, if you think about it just purely as digital money, people accept it like that. You can buy it in these places. You can use it in increasing number of sites and projects. Try it out. I'll throw you some. And then just having them use it, usually it makes it easier for them to understand. Talking about the technical part, I've given up on that. I think I'm going to use yours next time. Though, just say it's just magic.
yeah, it's just magic. It's brilliant magic.
Yeah. Well, dude, it was a pleasure to chat again. Thank you for your time. And I look forward to seeing what you build next on the site.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Cheers. Have a great day.
You too, bud.